We are just at the end of tax season,
Yes,
or
we are.
tax, and we need to discuss some of that because people made their mistakes all over again.
Yes.
We tried Bazamile last year into this year, but still,
I think we need to actually do a road show.
we need to do,
Yeah.
and show you how.
Yes.
And show you how, because you guys are still making the common mistakes, and it's gonna cost you.
Yes.
End of the day, it's gonna cost you. We'd hate to hear when you report back to us about, hey, got the true, hey, got the funny, hey, they killed me on the penalties.
But
yeah, but we
SARS is
told
getting
you.
so much more aggressive now. Because they've also streamlined their systems to be able to give people a better service. So
Right.
you don't
that cost an arm and a leg for them as well.
Yes, it does indeed. So SARS is a lot more aggressive with the penalties, as we've seen now in the 2022 tax year. They've done away with doing admin penalties if you've missed 2 returns. If you miss 1 return, they will slap you with an admin penalty. Yeah.
Ouch. So I mean, it's in your best interest to really be compliant in this regard.
Yes.
The taxman doesn't play. We keep laughing and making a joke out of it, but it really isn't that funny.
No.
The receiver of revenue has also come under fire for falling asleep at the wheel.
Yes.
Be it, or if for lack of a better term. So the response is going to affect you directly.
Yeah.
So your compliance in this matter, I think, will help you out. What are we discussing today?
Today, we're going to look at some of my experiences over the last couple of weeks, couple of months.
Yeah.
Dealing with clients.
Frequently asked questions.
Common mistakes, common misconceptions about tax, and what is the sort of the landscape going forward? Where's SARS sort of looking?
What's tripping up people the most?
People are being tripped up by the basics of not understanding tax. And I think not to blame people a lot, I think our education system also needs to put some kind of blame.
Okay.
Because we go to school for 12 years, you
Right.
get a matric certificate, but you don't really walk away with much in terms of, are you going to be able to cope in the real world? So
you walk away with subjects. You don't walk away with applicable knowledge.
Yes, that's it. So I feel like our education system needs to look into especially things that people are going to be using on a daily. So if a person doesn't have an opportunity to study beyond matric and they need to go into the workforce, or maybe it's a personal choice.
Right.
What are the things that they need to be equipped with in high school already to be able to enter the world of work?
I mean, e-filing should be a subject.
Definitely.
In matric.
I mean,
because some people are going to the workforce next year.
Yes.
Like right next year. Some people have no plans of doing anything else. Maybe there's a family business.
Yeah.
Or there is something that where you are already guaranteed employment. That means you're going to be guaranteed to file taxes.
And e-filing is not difficult. People, we sign on to platforms all the time. We've signed on to Facebook, we've signed on to Twitter. I remember a couple of years ago signing on to Twitter, and I had been on Facebook for a long time. And just navigating Twitter was difficult.
Right, because you had to make the adjustment, right?
It's this very same adjustment. You create a username and password, and you just learn to navigate the system. But very important, what you need to know is obviously what it is that you're there for. You need to understand what is a tax return.
Right.
And a tax return is not the money that you get back.
Yeah, don't be fooled by the word. Don't be fooled by the word, guys.
A tax return is the form that you complete, and what is pre-populated on your tax return form is your IRP5 information, which you would have gotten from your employer. So how it works is that your IRP5 information is already pre-populated on the tax return form when you open e-filing, because
don't be surprised, they haven't hacked you.
No, they haven't. There's actually recons that your employer needs to submit to SARS ahead of the 1st of July.
It's like the mirror image of what your employer gives you cannot be different or reflect differently to what the employer gives the receiver
The
of revenue.
That's correct.
Otherwise, we already have a problem.
That is a big problem, and that is a big problem to solve.
Right.
So yeah, when you open your return, don't be surprised with your information already there, because SARS does have access to your employer. SARS does have access to the banks and your retirement annuity and your medical aid. So most of that information will already be pre-populated there, and you simply do a check and balance between the documents that you would have received from your employer, from your medical aid, from your retirement annuity, and then just check all the numbers are correct, and then you literally click submit. Not unless you have anything in addition that you want them to add.
Things that were not captured by your employer, but you know the activities, and you have the paperwork to support it.
That's correct.
Right.
So a lot of us are going into side hustles right now because of our current economic climate.
And the fact that being paid 12 times a year just doesn't do it.
It hurts.
Painful. Painful. What are you doing? What are you doing with the other 340?
Yes.
It's actually embarrassing.
It hurts.
Actually embarrassing.
So yeah, people are pushing side hustles, and that's another thing that I've picked up is that people seem to forget that the money that you generate from your side hustle, it needs to be declared to the receiver of revenue. You might get away with it if it's very small and very informal, but it is.
If it's like sole proprietorship type of vibes.
Yes.
Okay.
And you deal with it on a cash basis. You like running a cash and carry.
Yeah, you basically fetching stuff. You're transporting stuff. You're fetching it from the market or from the wholesaler.
That sounds illegal.
What? Transport? That's what people do. Okay, should I call it logistics?
Logistics sounds worse.
You are transporting stuff from the wholesaler to the retailer. My goodness. It does sound bad. Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Guys, you're fetching goods. Never mind. Let me just
it's
keep
bad
quiet.
either way.
Let me just keep quiet.
So, moral of the story, just do things the right way.
Sure.
Do things the right way. I mean, it costs, 175 Rand to register a business.
Yeah.
With the CIPC.
That includes everything.
That's 50 Rand for your name reservation and 125 for the actual registration.
For the process, you get your CK number.
Yes.
You take $500, open a bank account. Voila! Look what we have here. Your BE certificate online. It's there. Your tax number. You just have to go there. In fact, you're gonna go online now.
It's actually when you register your business.
Oh, now it comes. Yes.
When you register your business, you automatically.
Now, yes, the system. See, there's a lot that they've done.
There's a lot.
Do you remember the queue? Do you remember the queues when we had CCs?
Oh,
and you had when they had CCs and you had to go get a tax or a tax clearance. Oh, and they only can print 10.
Yes. They've also streamlined that. I've actually had an experience with a client who needed a tax clearance certificate. I hadn't onboarded her as a client as yet, and that takes a couple of days.
Right.
And I think she was having a tender document that she needed to.
It needed to go in.
We obviously couldn't now wait for the onboarding process, and I remember actually seeing on the face of the SARS website. A little tile there where you can actually go and request for a tax clearance certificate. And it was done within 10 minutes.
Like a PDF that comes.
PDF, yes.
See, guys, there's.
So SARS has done a lot of work.
I also think let's give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
There are many departments who haven't been towing the line.
Definitely, yes.
We can say that not because we just like to complain, but because there are those who really have been, working towards trying to make things a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit easier. And I guess when it comes to SARS, I think we need more road shows. I think they need to take their show on the road because with this new system, it needs a lot more rollout. It needs a lot more people to find out. But I say that to say this: the system is good enough now that you can go and explain it to people and it'll work.
Yes. What took people up a lot, and I think part of what you're saying about the SARS needing to do roadshows is how they've aggressively been pushing auto assessments. People don't understand auto assessments.
Right.
People still want to go queue at SARS, and I keep telling people you actually don't need to go queue at SARS. And I open up their profile and I see they've actually been auto assessed.
So it's been done anyway.
It's been done. And so what auto assessment is because SARS has your information from your employer and all of your financial sources, they can actually do an estimate. They can actually auto file your return based on the information that they have.
And that's how you find yourself getting a tax return amount.
Yeah, the tax refund. Yes.
Before you go. Before you even you just it bounces in your account. You're like, oh, hold on, what?
Funny story there. So I've had people who've had that notification, and obviously you're gonna go bawling, and you got your refund. And then 2 or 3 weeks down the line, they call me up. Hey, I need to submit my tax return. When I go in there, I'm like, but dude, you were auto-assessed. You got your refund. So what are you on about? No, I didn't submit. So people don't understand.
You don't understand that the system is being proactive.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And what auto assessment, what they've done is, so they've gathered all of your financial information. They've auto assessed you. If you've got a refund, they'll pay you out that refund. And what you do is you go into e-filing and you go check if you're happy with that auto assessment. Is there anything that needs to be added?
Or they might have missed an activity that was important to the outcome of the cycle.
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe you made a donation. I know my bank was doing a drive during the last couple of months where you could donate a certain amount every month.
Okay.
And they would give you a Section 18A certificate.
All right.
And SARS and your employer and all of your other financial institutions may not have that information, so it wouldn't then necessarily be pre-populated on your return.
It wouldn't reflect because okay, got it.
So then that's something you would then need to go in and automate or rather manually capture yourself.
What else were people getting wrong in this tax season?
I think it was more around just. I think it's also.
Was it time? Or did time have anything to do with it? Do people still wait until like there's 48 hours left, and then it's like, oh snap?
Yes.
And then you realize how busy you really are now for it. Yes. You've had all these months that you didn't utilize.
Yes. And just keeping your information up to date with SARS.
Okay.
So I, as a tax practitioner, I'm obviously a third party when it comes to your affairs with SARS. So there's certain checks and balances that need to happen in the background before I am able to access your tax profile.
Your proof of address, your bank account, your latest.
It's not even that. So how it would happen is you would approach me. You want me to file your tax return. I say, okay. Can you please give me your full name, your ID number, and your tax number? I add you as a client under my tax profile, and then an SMS will be sent to you from the SARS system indicating that this particular person wants access to your profile.
Oh, that you've put me in your database.
Yes.
Okay.
And then SARS will send you a one-time PIN, which you would then share with me.
And that's how we confirm that we're adding you as a third party.
Yes.
Okay.
So SARS would then, if you then are able to share the one-time PIN with the practitioner, then SARS would be happy to then do the match. However, because True has a lot of things on his mind, he did not update his contact details with SARS.
Oh.
So the SMS is not
goes
going
to an old number.
Old number. Yes. And that then takes a while because
that's a bottleneck.
Yes. So True would then either need to book an appointment and go to a SARS branch and have that contact information updated, which of course True does not want to do because he does not want to.
Because I don't deal with queues.
Yes.
What do you mean go to a queue?
So True would then ask me, and again, I'm a third party. There is no relationship built between the two of us.
And our arrangement is not recognized until you get that one-time PIN.
So then the documentation becomes very onerous. True would need to send me a certified copy of his ID. a photo of himself holding his ID and a note written, "Please update my details." His proof of address.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Oh my goodness.
It's a
Especially
lot.
me standing next to my ID trying to look like it's me.
Listen, it is quite a thing to capture that image because your face needs to be there. You need to be holding up your ID. You need to be holding up this note that says, "Please update my ID," and everything needs to
be in one frame.
In one frame and clear. Because
my goodness.
when SARS looks at that picture, they need to be able to see the details of your ID. So imagine you're holding up your smart card and this note, and you will still show your face, and you will still press your camera to capture the image.
You know, I almost wore shades for my ID photos.
Really?
I tried. They wouldn't let me. Like I tried, guys. That would have been slick though. That would have. So a friend of mine has these what are these, the transition lenses.
Yes.
So I was like, if I put these on as glasses, as soon as that flash goes off,
yes,
they get and they did, and the guy was like, take those off. I'm like, no, but he's like, dude, take those. So I tried, guys. I thought I was slick.
So Home Affairs is also
no, they're not about that life. They are not about that life whatsoever. I even had to pull my dreads back. When I went to go get my passport for it, they're like, dude, you can't wear your dreads down because you might cut your hair. I'm like, it's me though. Pull your dreads back. I had to go outside and like,
my goodness.
But I understand it because some people go in there with a wig.
Yes.
Take the picture and then take the wig off, and now they're a totally different person. Exactly. Anyway, we're not teaching you fraud. We're telling you how to avoid it.
And then one final thing that I picked up with most of my clients this past season is that a lot of people are looking for refunds, and people still have the misconception with regards to
that a return is a guaranteed refund.
Yes.
You might be owing, brother.
And people take that news. I mean, it's hard news
Listen,
to take in.
It's part of the journey of life. Sometimes they auto file you and you get a 15,000 rand out of the blue, and sometimes they auto file you and you get an email. Shame. Yes. And when the email comes, guys, do pay attention.
Yes.
Yes, it says no reply. It doesn't mean like don't respond.
No reply. Well, you said I mustn't reply.
Yeah, I said I mustn't reply. What was I gonna do? I'm honoring your wishes.
I thought it was an FYI.
I thought it was done. Nah, bro. There's an attachment there. Trust me, you wanna open that. You're gonna wanna get in there. So, what can you assess for us in wrapping up about this previous tax season, and what areas are we going to need to focus on going forward to strengthen people for the upcoming season? But also, I understand it's December, or when businesses need to. So
businesses, there is actually no. I use set very loosely, but businesses file their returns depending on their financial year end. So each business will have a different financial year end, and then the tax return would then be due according to that.
So we'll also touch on business filing.
Yes.
But personal income tax, and then what about you guys who didn't file? Like that, you don't understand, guys.
The penalty is coming.
You don't understand. It's coming, and it's not gonna be friendly.
It's not. So filing season officially closes on Monday, the 24th of October. So you still have some time. But if you miss that deadline on the 25th of October, you can expect then when you open your e-filing to be hit with an admin penalty, a non-submission penalty.
And that's on you.
That is on you.
Like you can even do this even if you're in hospital in the trauma ward.
I would not recommend.
Well, look, I'm saying okay. Not the trauma ward. At least once you're in a normal ward and you've stabilized.
I think SARS.
At trauma, pay more attention to not bleeding out.
Yes. SARS is very fair in this regard. they've done a lot to come sort of meet the taxpayer kind of halfway. We need to do our bit. Our education system is failing us. So we then need to step up and do our bits and meet SARS halfway, because they've done a lot in terms of automating the system, improving systems. I mean, you don't need to leave the comfort of your own home. You can file your return. Sometimes it's filed on your behalf. And what happens is that if you've got extenuating circumstances, like if you've been in hospital and you've missed the filing deadline because of...
Oh, you had an interview with True.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I'm not sure if they take that as real.
That is an exigent circumstance.
So you wake up on the morning of the 25th of October, you want to file your tax return, it's late, you've got that admin penalty, go ahead and file. And then what you do after you filed is you submit something that's called a request for the remission of the admin penalty. And then you state your whole story that I was in hospital for the last 5 months. I was in an induced coma, and then you would obviously then need to have evidence to back that up.
Well, how? I was in a coma.
Your doctor can write your notes that
he was in a coma too. We were all in a coma.
Well, those could be. I don't know how that would work.
We were all comatose. And when I woke up, the same time my doctor woke up, the nurse, there were other patients in the waiting room. They also woke up at the same time.
I woke up at 1 minute past midnight, and it was already the morning of the 25th of October.
And I was so far away, and my phone wasn't charged. And I was in a coma. The presence of mind to charge my mobile handheld device that would have allowed me to log into my e-filing in the nick of time.
In the nick of time.
While I'm still trying to figure out where I am on terra firma.
Yes.
If they want to get in touch with you, Faniswa, how do they do that? People need tax advice all the time.
Yes, so you can call me on 061-874-2546 or email info@thetaxcafe.co.za.
That's the one. She's the Tax Cafe, and she's here with us every Wednesday between the time of 25 to 12 and 12 o'clock. You could have been anywhere between 9 and 12, but this is where you chose to be, and for that, we are eternally grateful. Thank you for making Moment of Truth your 9 to 12 destination. Until tomorrow, peace. Take care of yourselves so we can take care of each other.